The 2026 Super Bowl saw a heavy focus on AI brands and tech platforms, right? And I think we did the calculation, didn't we, Carson? I think nearly 25% of them were connected to AI, messaging, or tech innovation, right?
Uh-huh.
Some of them tried to use humor and human situations, which did not land. And I think today we're going to go through a lot of the ads from the Super Bowl and just give our overall analysis of where the trends are, where these tech companies trying to take people, kind of are celebrities in the Stolzer ads still working? And Carson's got some ads that he absolutely hated, and he's going to tell you why. Let's get into it.
Yep. Let's go through, Luke, let's go through what we did like first. Let's start off on a positive note today, right?
All
I'm
right,
feeling
positive.
I'm feeling like a good mood, right?
Yeah,
Some of the ones that I'll kind of run through my list and then go through more of my favorites if that works for you, and then you can do the same.
amazing.
But I have 12 that really stood out that I liked, and I can go into why for each of them, but first is this is in no order. This is just, you know, top to bottom. Michelob Ultra, they were in the first quarter, I believe, or start of the game. I really liked theirs. I thought it was very good, and they had some good actors in there. They had Lewis Pullman, Kurt Russell. I thought that was a pretty good ad, skiing ad. Also, for any of these, if you don't know what we're talking about, just look up the name 2026 Super Bowl ad and then go watch it, and you could probably understand what we're talking about. But I really like that one. I liked Instacarts. I know for that, like it was a little cheesy, but I thought value wise, it put everything in a good proposed light while keeping it a little more entertaining with like that retro look. I actually really liked Wix Harmony, but not from like it was super creative or anything, but I think they provided the value where they needed to provide it. And I thought that's why, like, it was nothing, special
Mm,
or great. I don't necessarily think it's super memorable, but I think if you were watching and you were like on the fence about Wix or want to start a website or something and you watch that, I thought that was a pretty good ad just from a value point. Lay's with the farmer and the daughter, that kind of farmer's daughter thing, that was great.
yeah,
Pepsi was good, taking shots at Coke. Loved bringing that back with little cultural relevance in there. If you know what I'm talking about.
mm,
Uber Eats, I thought was good, pretty funny. Also tied it really well into football and like making things about football wants you to eat. Bradley Cooper, Matthew McConaughey, Bud Light. That was probably my favorite. Post Malone, Peyton Manning, and Shane Gillis. That was funny. They had people rolling down the hill for Bud Light, all that stuff. So that was probably my favorite. Vardis, the prostate cancer ad, that was a good one just from humor perspective. With Gronk, they did a good job. Volkswagen was good, hit very heavy on the emotion side. Pfizer, most American ad by far. That was phenomenal. They've crushed it. Them and Bud Light have crushed it, in my opinion, for 2 years in a row. Big props to
mm.
them.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Spark AI, another good one from a tech company, just from a value perspective, showing the product and what it does and how it's useful. And then I thought Duncan did a good job as well. They had more of a campaign than just an ad. I know they sent emails and it was about points and stuff like that. So those were the 12 that I personally liked. Luke, which were the ones that you liked?
I mean, I for me, just give some context. I'm actually currently in New York, so I watched the Super Bowl in America for the first time ever, and for me, it was a fascinating watch. I was in a local bar. People are drinking away, dancing and celebrating. And the one that I noticed got a lot of sentiment from a positive one. So the positive one was Dunkin' Donuts one. I thought that was really well done. From kind of from like as you were saying, a campaign execution standpoint, and also as well as like a sense of nostalgia. Because again, they're memorable DH sitcom stars.
Yep.
So I really felt being back in the. I mean, some of them are my favorite shows ever. Watching them, and I love that. But the
Yep.
one that I noticed got the worst sentiment, something that I was surprised by, is the Coinbase ad. Because, and I'll
Yep.
tell you what I found interesting. At the beginning, people were singing along to it, right? Everybody, that song, right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, the minute it was Coinbase, you could hear the bar go, oh. And I was like, ooh, ooh, that's
Dude,
super interesting.
there's multiple clips on social media of the same thing happening. You know what's funny too? And I don't want to take over the conversation, but I do want to touch on this very important point. Coinbase had a very bad concept. Great job to get people involved with curiosity, like, oh, what's this going to be about? execution was terribly lacking and it had nothing to do with the product. But Coinbase is always they're always the company to say, "Oh, our ad was so great. We're so proud of it." And everyone else is like, "That was terrible. Terrible."
Agreed.
And I think for the first time, more marketers thought that was good than consumers. Because every time I looked on social media or I was watching with my buddies and like people were singing along, at the very end, everybody just goes, bro, like, and what does that have to do? So what? You get people singing. It doesn't matter. If people don't like your product and trust you, they're not going to care.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think actually, well, it's again, and it's the thing that will stand the testament of time, and it's that product relevance still wins. And I think what companies get so wrong is they don't actually make the product link with what they're trying to say in the advertisement perspective. Like if you look at the Bud Light again, interestingly, when I saw that ad, my British self went, "Ah, they've taken the cheese rolling concept and turned it into a beer barrel. It's like genius." But it's the concept of it's so good, this beer, that I have to run down a hill and fall over. The product is in the forefront, like in the Lay's ad, right? Even though you've got this beautiful nostalgia story and they've got this sentiment with with the dad and the daughter, right? But the Lay's is still in the background, and the Coinbase ad just makes no sense. There's no link to karaoke and well, not gambling, sorry, no link between karaoke and crypto,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and I think the best ads, generally speaking, yes, but definitely this year, the best ones had two things in common: high emotion of humor and very good value propositions, which you don't usually see in TV. So the biggest takeaway I have from this year's good ads are value prop and humor. And the really good ones were both together. But I
Mm.
think for the most part, like those are the two core themes that I saw over the course of the whole Super Bowl from top to bottom that were the most common amongst the ones that I had for the top ads. So
But, yeah.
what other themes do you think there was for the best ones that I might have missed?
I think again, if you look at the Budweiser one, the American icons, right? I think again, you said humor, you said nostalgia, but I think that was a great example of like the patriotic storytelling, right? I mean, I'm not American, but I felt a feeling watching that. As if I was American, I can imagine that really tapping into everything you believe in and what you guys want as a country. I feel like that was quite an interesting play where maybe Budweiser and Bud Light were the only ones that were doing that kind of real, and Lay's actually the way that was very American. That felt that ad.
It was. Yeah, it was. It was great.
But 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 then I think the celebrities, right? They always the memorable celebrities. I mean, Duncan did it well. Pokemon did it well. I also found the movie trailers really interesting. I didn't know they ran movie trailer ads. I don't know. That may sound really
There
stupid.
was a lot less this year than actually they anticipated.
Yeah, that's
A
what I thought
lot
was
less.
interesting. But I think I want to become negative. I want to become quite negative now, talking about what I didn't like.
There's a lot more negative to cover this year. A lot more.
I just look. I understand that AI tech, right? It was everywhere this year. Like it was most of the ads. I think again 25% of them. It was a hell of a lot. But I just felt like these brands they were trying to demystify AI to kind of these relatable use cases. But I felt the use cases weren't that relatable.
Agreed.
I feel like when they became again, I think the worry you have in tech is when you have very tech-centric spots in ads, there's often this feeling that it can feel hollow and there's like a lack of emotional grounding. And I think like
Yes.
they didn't have that. A lot of them didn't.
Yeah, and like these were the first two notes I wrote down after the Super Bowl of what I thought, generally speaking.
Mm.
Tech companies can't seem to figure out what people actually give a shit about. And they lack a lot of emotion for the general consumer, not
So it's
just
just
people who are coding engineers or marketers or whatever, the
yeah,
everyday consumer. They have no freaking clue. They have no clue. They need to go out and touch grass. This is the problem with tech guys. They have zero idea what B2C looks like because all they do is focus on B2B and direct to businesses. So they have no idea what they're doing with their market. It frustrates the shit out of me And physical products brands win more because they have more of an emotional first advertising
Yeah.
perspective and more of that gritty way of doing things to connect to consumers. They know that's how it's done. And one of the things too is for tech companies. Now, I mean, most marketers might disagree with this just based off what I've seen on social media, but I thought the OpenAI and Claude ads were terrible, terrible.
Mm.
And I'll go into why first. OpenAI, I didn't like because it it doesn't like everyday people aren't gonna run like understand that. They're not gonna care. The ones they have running on normal TV spots of like what people are searching, like help me cook or all this other stuff, those are much better, much better. And they should probably have run something similar to that. Claude, I didn't like it from the perspective of like, I thought they did a great job of making fun of the kind of tone of voice that most
Mm.
AIs have. But my biggest issue was they're using an ad to target ChatGPT bringing ads to OpenAI, and Claude's not. It just seems a little off to me. Plus, most consumers, one, don't really know that that's happening. First.
Yeah.
Second, the biggest thing, and this is the biggest thing, they completely misinformed how ads are even being brought to ChatGPT. Completely misinformed
Yeah, I agree with that.
because now consumers, if they even know or have any like any information about what's, ChatGPT's bringing ads, they think, oh, it's just going to be woven in to promote these products when it's giving you X, Y, and Z. That's not the case at all.
No.
So it frustrates me a little bit because it's more information, it's more misinformation than it is proper information. So that kind of bugged me a little bit, and that's why I think it's a little bit. Those four were poor. Love
Yeah.
to hear what you think, and if there's any devil's advocate over here.
I think you've nailed it on the head. I think if you look at other AI companies that didn't run Super Bowl ads, but you look at like Friend.com when they were in New York, for example, and they ran those sort of out of home ads on the tube, and everyone was
Yeah,
graffitiing it
those are
saying "Go."
terrible.
And I think that is the sentiment. I think, and this is my belief, no AI tech company, like, and what I mean by AI tech company, because again, talking like, well, it's what about the rappers? What I'm saying is like the calls, the OpenAI's, Gemini's. I don't think any of them have actually nailed the right sentiment of what people want.
No, I don't think they have any idea either.
Precisely, and it's like, Gemini's new home, right? They went to this emotional family focused AI Gemini. And I think out of the three, I think Google's one was the one where I was like, the only ad where I was like, I could imagine myself being in that situation. For the others, I just felt a bit, I don't know. It's like they're trying to be aspirational, but they don't know what the aspiration is.
Yeah,
Like, because, like, for example, Claude's like keep thinking, and it's like that. I resonate with that a lot. Like, to be honest with you, I didn't like their campaigns at this Super Bowl. I did like their ads back in November. I did enjoy the Claude one, keep thinking one. I like that ad. That
yeah,
you know that one I'm talking about. That I
yes.
enjoyed that nostalgia, right?
I
But it's all
like
nostalgia. It's all nostalgia. Though.
it is, and I liked their TV ads where they finished with "Keep Thinking" because it made more sense. But they're out of home with "Keep Thinking."
Yeah,
Awful. What context does that give me? If I'm an everyday consumer and I don't know anything about AI like most people, "Keep Thinking," that's so broad. Like, keep thinking about what?
it's just
Keep
pure
thinking why?
awareness. It's pure awareness campaign, but awareness to what?
It is, but and it's like, but is that enough to get people to even know who you are? Because in my opinion, I don't think it is. If
I, I,
people look at a billboard and they're like, it says "Keep Thinking" and it just says Claude, it's like, well, what is Claude? And then 2 seconds later, they don't care. You have to use as few words as possible to get a point across to get people to care or feel some sort of emotion. I don't think it does that unless you see the context with the TV spots.
but then, do you think you've got the keep thinking campaign? Do you not think they just said think better? That would have been more interesting because someone could understand that. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, thinking better. I mean, again, yes, there's ambiguity there. I'm not saying it's the perfect one, but would that be a more effective one? Because at least I know, oh, this can make me think better than keep thinking.
The only thing I'd say about that is better is way too abstract of a word. We need to get concrete. So can we make
Yeah,
something
true.
with 7 words that's more specific? Like, think better is like, okay, what's better? How is better?
Oh.
You can make it as, something along the lines of,
Think what
so
what I
what do
think
we mean by better? Yeah, that's better. That's something people can visualize. Oh, I can, or think smarter than Einstein. Think something like they could do a whole different campaign about like thinking better along different lines, right? So it'd be like think smarter than Einstein, think bigger than Musk, whatever. I know that's competitor, but still, just trying to get a point across here.
but then
Anyway, yeah,
but I
that was
wanna
my gripe with those two.
but then I wanna also get into the again, we're on I think we're going into the tech and AI heavy ads. I mean, I was disappointed by Mr. Beast one, Salesforce.
That's on my bad list too. I know we talked about it, but that was terrible.
I just
What does that have to do with Salesforce?
it's like
The everyday
that's what
consumer just cares about the $1 million. They don't care about Salesforce.
also it's like, do you not feel like the market has got again, they talk about the sophistication of the market. Do you not feel like everyone's got a bit over over like sensitive not sensitive, it's not the word, oversaturated to the concept of, "Oh, win money." What I mean by that is like, it's nothing creative now. It's like, "Oh, Mr. Beast, his minions win." I feel like there needs to be the next frontier of innovation there. It's just I don't know,
Yeah,
it felt like a cop
it's
out.
just what can we do? What can we do to get as most people interested as possible? Oh, we'll give them money. That's it. It's nothing. There's no sense of like
Yeah,
a product or anything. It's just let's just give something away so people will see and hear the brand more. But for the most part, people are gonna just see and hear it while they're focusing on the $1 million. They don't give a shit about the company.
but
They don't
also
care.
as well, let's be brutally honest, how many people when a shit ad comes on, goes on their phone, you know? Like,
That's the
these companies,
problem.
you're competing not only like, this is the problem we have, right, with an ad now, is you're competing not only with the, the other companies in your space, you're competing with people that are going on their phone while your ads are running.
Yep.
But then it's like, yeah, yeah,
This is why I have a ton of Super Bowl ideas for later down the line. But I have something that people should be doing more of, and this is why I like what Ramp did. One, because I thought their ad was actually really good, but two, because they had a whole in-person thing for the tailgate, but they also were trying to partner with a lot of people on social to just boost more reach to other audiences, right? One thing that I think people need to do during the
mm,
Super Bowl, you should be you should have a bunch of different just shorts coming up, short form videos, whether it's part of your ad or before like BTS scenes, something, whatever. More of like the same, doesn't really matter that much. Depends on the company. But I think during Super Bowl time,
yeah,
you should be spamming the algorithm with posts probably every 15 to 30 minutes just to see if that gives you an incremental boost.
yeah.
Because I think that's a great way to because even if people's attention are going right to their phone during the ad spots, they're going to see your brand. It's just a better campaign structure, in my opinion. So if anybody's watching that happens to know or be a part of a big company that runs Super Bowl ads, there's your sauce. In my opinion, I think that's a great idea.
Well,
Excuse me.
it's like what Ramp did in New York, right? A
Yeah.
lot of people go, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's really great, like brand activation," and it's like, yeah, it's great brand activation, but when you look at their team, they've got ex Mr. Beast employee who essentially just went mad on clips. So they owned the social organic conversation because there were thousands of clips being pumped out across multiple platforms. You see that across UGC platforms. You look at UGC programs, they've got Whisper Flow. Look at Poly. I mean, look at the Poly Market ads right now. I mean, they're wild. And I can send you so many examples of their UGC program, what they're doing, and it's like it's mass engagement because again, but they're tying it to this like contextual like I think you made a really good point there. I'm going to verbalize this better. It's if you're doing out of home as a company, having a clipping strategy is like the most important source of 2026. In
Yep.
person, in real life, activation plus clipping organic social play equals like
Yep.
mad success, in my view.
Yeah. That's what we have offering for out of home too. Not just the creative and media buying, but a whole social campaign. And we offer another tier where we do an addition and it's just PR.
But
Pretty
it's like
helpful
you're
in my
just shots
opinion.
on goal. That's what's
Yeah.
wrong, isn't it? Like, it's
You just want
easy.
distribution. That's the key. But going on to more of the bad here.
Yeah. Oh God.
Squarespace
Yeah.
was another one I thought was terrible. I thought T-Mobile was terrible. They had a lot of celebrities, but it was just so it was everywhere. They were everywhere. And I was like, what is going on? My buddies were watching with me and they were like, what am I watching? This is awful. And I know Oren had a post saying he liked it, and I disagreed. To each their own, but I thought that ad was atrocious.
Why
However,
did why did why did you think it was atrocious?
it was too much. There was too much. They were all over the place. There was the Backstreet Boys in it just singing, and there was Drewski, and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't even remember what they talked about. I just remember I was like, what is happening here? But the worst of them all, and possibly the worst ad of all time now, Svedka. What were those AI robots doing in a commercial? This is
They're getting
peak
buzzed,
just AI
bro.
slop.
They're getting buzzed. They're getting like they're on the.
It's it was awful. It was god awful. It evoked no emotion. What were the robots doing? They had nothing to do. There's no connection at all. It was terrible. Like it was so bad that my buddies were like, "What? Turn off the TV." Because that is peak like what people don't want of the future of AI to be is that.
Yeah.
And that's what most people think is going to happen with AI. It's just going to become all of this stupid shit presented all across socials, all across TV, everywhere in life, on our phones and on the internet. And I don't blame them after watching that. Like that's exact. It's like, okay, maybe we need to take a chill pill with the AI stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
It's the future. It's what's next. Everybody's talking about it. It's a little annoying, if I'm being honest. Kind of tired of hearing about it. But
Yeah.
that is exactly where brands fall short. You need taste and the knowledge of your consumer to be able to go and make an ad. And it just seems like they threw all that out of the window. Like whatever in-house person or agency came up with that idea and whoever approved it, everyone needs to be fired because it was so out of touch and bad. So
It was
bad.
like I just think it was just it didn't have any. Again, story of the day. Really, it's like there was no. It's just nothing, and just you feel because the things with these ads, right? I feel like you've got the ads that you love and ads that you hate, but the worst ads are indifferent. Like you feel nothing. I think that those types of ads create that feeling of indifference. It's like I don't feel anything. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It was terrible. Another consumer product one that I hated. And this was after the Super Bowl. And this is a brand that I think has missed a lot in the last couple of years. But it was Nike. Did you see that? Did you see Nike's ad? Nike had Marshawn Lynch talking to the camera, sipping coffee. This is funny. My best friend who was sitting next to me when we were watching the game, he was like, "Is this a coffee commercial?" And then it just goes to the end and it was like for Nike. And he was like, "What? What does that have to do with Nike?" It was so bad. I don't remember the content of the commercial was so bad. I just remember Marshawn Lynch sipping coffee. It just
Yeah.
anchored my brain immediately to this is a coffee commercial. But who is it for? And then completely turned and it was like Nike. And I was so confused. But I think they've missed a lot in recent years.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think it didn't have any. I just it didn't feel anything. You know, I just didn't. You know?
It's been rough. McDonald's gave me a good laugh. They did a good job. But
Yeah.
overall, I think like if I'm being completely honest, I think the Super Bowl ad winners was just the NFL's bank account.
Yeah. Oh, they. Oh,
I think that's who won. Because for the most part, I wasn't blown away like I have been in other years. And it felt like this year's Super Bowl ads felt they were very it was like a brand showed up to a first date with an engagement ring. They just appeared, they're gone the rest of the year, they come in and they're like, "Oh, hey, we're still here. You should, watch this commercial and buy from us." It's like, what is your commercial even giving me? There's nothing there. It was basically saying we're still here, buy our product from our ad that has nothing to do with a reason why you'd care. And marketers are talking about what ads are good from a marketer's lens, not a consumer's lens, like on social media. And it's a massive problem in marketing that I think most people forget to do is like, okay, you might think it's good from a marketing perspective, but have you thought about the consumer? And this is what you and I talk about all the time.
It's
It's like,
customer obsessed. You have to be
yeah,
customer obsessed.
you have to. And it's marketers are so obsessed with this vision of like what other marketers think instead of what their customers think.
Yeah.
It's brutal. And brands have stopped making ads customers care about and they make them for what they care about or marketers care about. And it's a brutal cycle we're in right now. And I think a lot of it, truthfully, is because AI has made everybody so self-obsessed with what's going to happen with them that they're like, we should make the marketers talk so that they think it's good so we can keep our job, which is completely flawed thinking. That's just what I think.
I agree. No, I agree, and I think actually it's interestingly more than ever the importance of the best ads and insight and the best ads in the world and insight into your customer's psyche, but also the best ads stand for something in a point of time. I think there's a fear, a big fear, with a lot of brands where they want to play it safe, and sometimes playing it safe is also the most negative detriment you can do because it's not you build this indifference where there's no feeling. Coinbase, I hated. To be fair, if that was the emotion they wanted, they've done a great job. I don't know, right? It depends what game you're optimizing for. If you're optimizing for like a feeling of nostalgia, I think Budweiser did really well. Companies, I don't think they know what they want. You can imagine them in like this big exec board, and they're probably like, "Oh, we need to increase our awareness. We need to increase these use cases." I don't think they went about it the right way, in my view.
No, I agree. And I think honestly, there's been, the best ads this year were all ones with the same things in common that we usually talk about: emotion,
Yeah.
customer
Thank
centric,
you.
and value. And everything else was just, let's just throw shit at the wall.
Yeah.
Just nothing, absolutely nothing going for it content wise. And brands are falling behind because they have no idea who their customer is and what they care about. There's no psychology behind it.
No, I agree. That is the perfect way to end, really.
I agree.
And again, I think the only thing I would add on to that is that what I did find quite interesting is that social media engagement does shape perception more. And what I mean by that is ads are being judged beyond the broadcast. Again, like instant clicks, instant remixes, instant memes, instant tweets. I think for brands, if I was doing a Super Bowl ad in 2027, I'd be looking at how can we have the link between social media engagement and the ad we run at the same time, as you were saying. And
Yeah.
that's going to be a very important play for 2027 and maybe before. And yeah, that's kind of my last thing.
Dude, what an episode. I thought this was
What
great
an,
getting to talk
what an
about Super Bowl
episode.
stuff. So
Well,
if you made it this far, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. Send this to anybody who you think would like it. Hopefully you enjoyed the Super Bowl and watching the Patriots lose as much as I did. But uh, hit a like, comment, subscribe, send this to somebody. We appreciate you guys. We're not going anywhere. And we'll see you next week.
see you next week. See you in a bit. Bye. Bye. Peace.